Hey guys, it's Reptile Aquatics. Well, I'm back in another video, and first to start this off, I want to apologise for leaving you guys for so long. Truth be told, I've been a bit under the weather and haven't been able to film, so yeah, that's why I was kind of off YouTube for a while. Between my voice constantly cutting out, coughing every time I tried to speak, and having a blocked up nose, it made me sound all sinusy. Yeah, filming just wasn't going to happen, so that's why I've been so I haven't uploaded in a couple of weeks. But I'm finally back, and today I just want to show you guys basically how to clean snake enclosures. Well, to put a finer point on it, I don't want to so much to show you how to clean snake enclosures. I want to show you how to clean snake enclosures the easy way, and this can vary a lot. It honestly does depend on what setup you have. Now, this can change a lot in how easy it is to keep your snake, or just to keep your reptile in general, but I'm referring specifically to snakes, because the setups I'm going to show you aren't really that suited for lizards, but snakes are fine in them. So obviously there are a few different types of setups. One of them is the kind of very typical terrarium style setup, where you'll have a large terrarium like the ones behind me, for example, and you will have some form of substrate in there, whether it's coconut fiber or aspen bedding or repti bark or whatever else is available for you at the time, I guess, and you'll have some form of decoration in there to make it more aesthetically pleasing, like branches, logs, rocks, vines, fake and ornamental plants and ornaments, if that may be the case, caves and hides. And that's all well and good. If you want a very extravagantly decorated terrarium, that's all, by all means do it. There's no problem with that at all. But what I've personally found, when you're keeping a large number of animals, it can add a lot of extra time to your maintenance, especially when it comes to cleaning. So what I've done is I've made my snake enclosures as simple and easy to clean as possible. I'm going to go show you guys how I've set them up and how easy they are to clean in comparison to an extravagant terrarium. So just to give you guys an example, this is Monty's enclosure here. So even with my larger snake terrariums, with some of them I've done it like this. Some of them do have bedding and are made more like a display terrarium, because I still haven't overdone it with the displays. Yes, they have substrate, they have a water bowl and something for the snake to hide or climb in, depending if it's a tree snake or like an arboreal species or a ground dweller. Sorry. If it's a ground dwelling snake, I'll give it a hide. If it's a tree dweller, it gets something to climb on. But that's as extravagant as I go. So it's still easy to clean. But back to my original point with this, as you can see, he has his branch to climb on. That's the only decoration I've got in there. It's all he needs. Plastic plants the snake doesn't need. You know, that's something we put in so we can look at it and be like, oh, that looks nice. He has his water bowl. He doesn't have any substrate. He has newspaper. Monty's a big snake. He does big poos, pretty much. So I want it as easy to clean as possible when he does them. When he wees, it's quite a lot of wee. You know, it's quite a large puddle. I'll be replacing substrate way too regular, and it's just more effort than it's worth. Substrate usually absorbs a lot of the wee and poo up as well. You don't always see it, and it smells. So newspaper's quite easy. It takes me literally a few minutes to change it and replace it. Another benefit to having just newspaper instead of substrate, especially if you're going to keep a large amount of animals, if you're going to get into breeding and you're keeping a very large amount of animals as well, and especially again if you don't have much time on your hands, is on top of it being easier and less time consuming to keep these enclosures clean, you lower the risk of things like, for example, snake mites. Now, I'm not saying snake mites just magically appear out of substrate. What I'm saying is, when you have a large collection of animals and your collection's constantly changing, like mine is, I'm bringing in new snakes reasonably regular, I'd say. I mean, I get a new snake every now and again, usually at least once every month or two. I've brought home 1 or 2 new snakes, and I'm going to be hopefully breeding soon, which new snakes again. But more to the point, bringing in new snakes, if you're doing that on a regular basis, you run the risk of bringing in mites on these new snakes. It just happens when you're keeping snakes, especially if you're keeping a lot of snakes, you do run the risk of getting mites. It just happens sometimes. But if you're not keeping enclosures with substrate, or you're keeping snakes in snake tubs in a rack system, which I'm going to show you next, it's very easy to avoid mites and to get rid of them if you do happen to bring home a snake that has them. Because mites are a nomadic parasite. Yes, they do live on the snake, but they also wander to other enclosures. and they will burrow into your sand or aspen bedding or whatever substrate you're using, and they will breed in that. So if you don't have anything for them to breed in, if you've got a bare bottom tank with just maybe newspaper and it's just a plastic snake tub of some sort or a terrarium, you can see all the mites, you know, you can get them all out. You can use your mite spray and kill them all, rather than they're in the substrate, you've got to spray the substrate down, or more or less throw the substrate out. But then they've moved to another tank by then and gone into that tank's substrate. You know, you can literally treat the first tank that the mites were in and eradicate them all before they go to the next tank, because your tank is basically like a quarantine tank. It's a very sterile environment with no substrate. So that's the main reason I don't like using substrate too often. I have a couple of tanks with substrate, the majority of them don't have it. Alright guys, so these are some of my smaller snake tubs that I've got for my younger pythons, and I'm just going to show you how easy it is to clean these out. And I also will mention, like you can probably notice by looking there, that there is some substrate in my terrarium there that's got blue tongues in it and a bearded dragon. So I just want to clarify that when I'm talking about how much easier it is to have no substrate, I'm referring to just snakes specifically. You don't really want to have no substrate with most lizards because they kind of need it. I mean, the bearded dragon, yeah, you can get away with it, not so much. Blue tongues, however, like to dig, and they like to bury themselves and go to sleep like that sometimes. So I have the reptile bedding in there because the blue tongues love to dig in it and they like to bury themselves. Bearded dragon doesn't really care so much about the substrate, so I guess you can get away with it with a dragon. But some lizards do like to dig and burrow, so those ones particularly you would want to have a substrate just to keep them happy. But anyway, we'll get back to this now. I just thought I'd mention that one real quick. So I'm going to be cleaning out the top tub, which has got my jungle jag in it. So it's quite simple. As you can see, it does definitely need a clean out. You'll notice I've also put a branch in here, just a piece of wood, because jags do like to climb, so I thought I'd just give him that, even though he never really uses it. But it's there. So just take the water out, change or top up their water if needed. I'm not going to do that because it's fine. And literally all you're doing is taking out the snake and the paper, wiping the tank down, putting the new paper in. So you get rid of that, bin that old paper. There's my little jag, and he's most likely going to bite me. He always does. He's quite a snappy little fella. So come on. So yeah, I thought you can have a quick look at him while I got him out. So he's doing pretty well. He's nice and fat. He only just ate the other day, so he's a bit fat still. Yeah. He's still not getting much better with the handling. He's still a pretty snappy little fella a lot of the time, so he's been pretty good at the moment. I think that's just because he's got a belly full of food. He's just more relaxed. I mean, well, he's not so much relaxed. Let's say he's less inclined to move around and be overly active because he's got a belly full. He doesn't want to move too much, which is good for me. Mind you, I'm used to being bitten by him, but it makes it easier handling him when he's not biting. So, yeah, I can't really be bothered getting up right now. I'm kind of settled here, so I'll just sit him on my lap while I do this. Usually what I would do, I would put the snake in another tub while I do this, but he can just sit there. He's probably going to have a few strikes at me while I'm doing this. Now while he's, yeah, he's already getting ready to bite, aren't you? You have a look down there, see? Yeah, he's just chilling. One little product I'll talk about too while I got you here is these Jurassic wipes. Now I absolutely love these. These are a great cleaning product for reptile enclosures. I use them on all of my tubs to give them a wipe down before I put the new paper in. They've got lime and citrus oils in them. There's no harsh chemicals in them whatsoever. The acid in the lime and citrus oils helps to break down any dried up bits of snake or lizard poo that gets stuck to the side of the container. You know, they smear it around sometimes and it gets dried and it's very hard to clean off. Are you right there? And yeah, the acid in that breaks it down quite well, so you can wipe it off quite easily. And on top of that, you know, you get that nice natural sort of lime sort of smell to the enclosure. It makes it smell nice without the use of any chemicals, so it's really good. So pretty much all I'm going to do is take this out. Some little jag's getting all cranky now. Take a wipe. And literally just wipe the tub down. Don't have to be too, like, you know, fussed about it. Just a quick wipe down. If there are any bits of dried crap, you just target that, get it off. And that's literally it. I bin that, or throw it across the room, whichever works. Then I just get a couple of tissues, dry the tub off, because the wipes do make it a little bit wet, and I'd rather it dry, just because when I put the paper down, I don't want the paper getting stuck to anything wet or absorbing moisture. I'd rather the paper be as dry as possible from the start, so you know, it doesn't lose any of its absorbency, I guess. And yeah, put that in. Got my new paper here, which I just slide in. Yep, there he goes, having a strike. He's actually being really good. Normally by now he would have bit me at least 5-6 times. He's bluffing, but yeah. I've folded this paper, I haven't folded this paper enough, it's still too big. Okay, put that in. Like that, put his water back. And that's it, you're done. Put the snake back. Well, that take me like 2 minutes. And that was 2 minutes of me doing that while talking to you guys, but I'm not filming it, it's even quicker. So yeah, it just makes cleaning out tubs a lot easier. Yeah. One thing I will quickly talk about too, while I have the jungle jag out, sorry, let's adjust that a little bit. While we're on the topic of jags, this jungle jag, when he grows up, is not going into my breeding. This is going to be a strictly display animal for me, and that's it. Mainly because jags are just a really bad bloodline to breed with. They're genetically bad. I mean, the thing with jags, they have neuro. People argue that some do, some don't. I'm telling you now, all jags have neuro. Some just have worse cases than others. There can be like level 1 neuro, there can be up to like level 6 or 7 neuro if you want to put a number to it. Difference is level 1 is virtually undetectable. I was waiting for that. Got a feeling building up to it. Level 1 neuro is virtually undetectable, which is what this one's got, meaning that, yeah, he shows virtually no signs of it, and that can change throughout his life, or it can't. It can stay that way, which I'm hoping it stays that way. I'm hoping it doesn't get worse. It probably won't, because he's grown a reasonable. Now you're biting. He's grown a reasonable amount since I've got him, and he hasn't shown any signs of neuro still. So that's a good thing, where some jags, they can start out perfectly fine, and then maybe after 6 months to a year or 2 years or however long, it slowly gets worse, and yeah, they become real nightmares to keep alive, let alone just do normal things, like say getting them to feed, and just how they function as a snake is not as well either. So yeah, I'm not going to be breeding jags or crossing jungle carpets and coastal carpets to produce jags, let alone breeding a jag to something else. That's even worse. Breeding 2 jags together is the worst you could do, because yeah, they just pass on neuro to their offspring. They're just, yeah, genetically bad, unfortunately. So bear that in mind when you do buy jags, that they're gonna have neuro at some extent. It could be level 1 like this one, where there's virtually no signs of it. He's perfectly normal, there's nothing wrong with him whatsoever, but he could still produce babies in the future, and they could have level 6 neuro from him. And when a snake has really bad neuro, pretty much they have no sense of balance. They're wobbling left and right, trying to move. They'll start like corkscrewing around instead of slithering normal. They'll be having their heads upside down or up, or looking down all the time, or whatever. And it's really hard to get them to feed sometimes when they're like that. And the thing is, jags are a tree-dwelling snake. They like to climb. Snakes with bad neuro have no balance, so they can't climb. So you got a snake that naturally wants to climb, that's going to keep trying to, it's going to keep falling down. Not fair on the snake. It's a pretty shitty quality of life, if you ask me. So it's just not fair to produce animals that are going to have these problems. It's not fair on the animal. It's more work for me to look after them. So, and no one wants them as a pet when they're like that too. So yeah, I mean, this little fella's going to stay as a display snake and nothing else. Fortunately, Wow, that was a close. He nearly got my nose then. What was I going to say? Fortunately, yeah, he only has like level 1, so it's undetectable. So he'll be perfectly healthy and perfectly fine. He'll live a normal life. But I will say, I'm going to put him back real quick. I will say to any of you beginners out there, or anyone who wants a jag that's never had one before, and I fully understand why you would want one, the same reason I wanted one, they're beautiful. They don't get as huge as other pythons do, and they have amazing colours. I understand why you would want one, and I'm not saying don't go and get one, I'm just saying be aware that you could potentially get one with something that's over level 1 euro, and you may have to put in a bit more effort with looking after it. You basically may end up getting a special needs animal. So you just have to bear that in mind when you get jags, and be wary when you're buying them and where you're buying them from, because not everyone does it. Most breeders are quite reputable, but I have spoken to some of the breeders that I know and I've bought some of my snakes off. They've told me stories about where they've gone to expos to buy a jag. Not saying everyone at expos does this. Most breeders at expos are, again, very reputable breeders. But all it takes is one person to do this and give someone else a bad experience with reptiles. Some of these people at these expos that are selling jags will intentionally cool them down, so they're not displaying any of the obvious traits of neuro. When they're cooled down, they're just curled up on the bottom of the tank, half asleep. They're not doing much, so they look relatively normal. And this guy I was speaking to, he was aware of this. I mean, he wasn't aware that these breeders at these expos did this. He was aware that some jags can have really bad neuro, and it's not always as obvious when they're little. So he asked them, do any of these jags have neuro, blah, 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 blah. The guy was like, no, they're all fine, they're all fine. Took it home. As soon as the snake warmed up, obvious signs of neuro. Wasn't even subtle. And yeah, that's kind of what happens. They will cool their snakes down, so even ones with really bad case of neuro don't show it at all. And some person who doesn't realise what they're getting into, or even if they do realise it, they can be fooled. So I would just be wary buying jags, and be aware that there is a chance you could get one, and it could have really bad neuro, or even if it doesn't, it could develop it over time. So yeah, just be aware of that. Because the worst thing is when you take home an animal, something changes like that down the track, and that animal then just gets dumped because it's not what you wanted. So it's better that you're aware of it to start with, so less animals get abandoned or dumped or homeless, basically. And that is exactly why I'm not going to breed jags. That being said, like I was saying, I am incredibly lucky with mine. He's an absolute wonderful snake. He's got beautiful colours. He's only going to get better as he grows. And I wouldn't give him away even if he did have bad neuro, because I've gotten quite attached to him, to be honest. So even if he does try and bite me, I still like him. So yeah. And so yeah, for those of you who do want to produce jags, if it's something you really want to do and you're happy to accommodate for the fact that you're going to be producing snakes that aren't going to be 100% healthy, they're going to have neuro, they're going to have special needs, some more than others maybe. If you want to do it, it's on you. I don't recommend it. I don't really condone it either. But I mean, I have a jag. I had to have bought him from somewhere. By buying him, I'm supporting the breeding of them. At the time, I didn't know. I didn't even know that they were even had neuro. I didn't know that particular splice of genes had that problem. So it was kind of the shop's fault for not bringing that to my attention. They just quite willingly sold it to me, and I didn't know any better. Now I do know better. I'm taking it upon myself to not add to it by breeding them, and even though I'm going to be breeding, I'm not breeding jags. So yeah, if you want to breed them, I personally wouldn't advise it. I mean, I understand that there is a demand for them because they're beautiful and they can be worth a bit of money if you get the right mutations, but yeah, if you don't know any of that and you're just wanting to breed them, then I would personally advise just not breeding them. I mean, there's plenty of other snakes you can breed. The problem is, let's say for example you want to breed a jungle carpet to a coastal carpet and produce a jag out of two pure bloodlines. You're still going to get neuro, even with that. So you can't avoid it. And if you already have a jag and you want to breed that jag to say jungle carpet or a coastal carpet or something like that, something pure bred to a jag, you're still going to get neuro. And the absolute worst you could possibly do is breed two jags with each other. You're basically condemning the babies to death. You got one snake that's genetically bad bred to another snake that's genetically bad. The babies are just going to be a complete nightmare. The eggs either die, or even if they do hatch, they only live a couple of weeks or so, and then they die anyway. And chances if any even do survive, they're going to have the absolute worst neuro possible. So I would advise just steer clear of breeding them all together. Alright guys, so I'm going to clean one more tub. This time I'm going to clean my children's pythons tub. Now in this tub I've actually got two children's pythons. I've got my female Stimson's spotted python cross. She's in with my male children's. So for this I'm going to take them out and put them in the tub that's up top that has nothing in it while I clean their tub. Now the female spotted is perfectly fine to handle. The male on the other hand can sometimes be a bit temperamental. It all depends on his mood. Some days he'll let me pick him up, some days he won't. Some days he'll let me pick him up for about 2 seconds and then he'll just turn aggressive out of nowhere. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, so this is the male. This is one that bites sometimes. So give you a quick look at him so you can see how he's going. Yep, and he's going to bite, so I'm going to put him back. I'm going to put him in the other tub now. See, they've made quite a mess of this paper, so let's get my little bin here. We're unprepared, aren't we? Didn't think to grab that. Don't have to worry about her, she's fine. So you can see that she's a little smaller than the male. This is the Stimson's spotted python cross. And she's perfectly fine to handle. I mean, she's a little twitchy, but she doesn't bite, at least. The male, I don't trust him still. I hold him, but, you know, not for too long. And, like, he let me pick him up without striking, which he doesn't always do. But yeah, I felt his body kind of twitch and tense up a little bit after a few seconds, so I knew he was going to bite soon, so I quickly just put him in this tub. And I'm going to pop her in a tub too while I clean this tub out. So same process as before, just get a reptile wipe. So these are really good, like I said, they are lime and citrus scented. And being lime, it is acidic, so it does help kill germs and remove stains and any dried waste and poo and anything like that, so it's quite good. Next I'm getting my tissues. Wipe any leftover reptile wipe residue away. That's that done. Get myself some newspaper. And that's the beauty of newspaper. It's free. So it's not like expensive reptile beddings where you got to keep, you know, buying all this stuff just to get crapped on and thrown out after a week. And that's basically it, done and dusted. Pop the water back, pop the little hide back, pop snakes back. So I'll do Mr. Cranky male first, I guess, get him out of the way. There you go. So I've gotten a little better with like handling him, but yeah, he's still a very nervous sort of snake, so just gotta get, no, you know, I was trying to get his head to face around the other way, but just wanted to come straight back out. There you go. Female. I literally nearly put my hand on the male's head then. Go on, get back in. Come on. That's all you gotta do. Shake the tub, they retract back in. And of course guys, last but not least, I'm gonna do Monty's enclosure real quick as well. He does not want to let go of this branch. You know what? I'm going to take this branch out anyway, so it can all just come out in one go. Because he's getting to that size where fighting him just doesn't work. You down there. Don't go anywhere. Again, guys, I forgot my bin again. I keep forgetting it. Alright. You guys may notice one little thing I'm doing here, or maybe you don't notice it, but I'll explain it anyway. I guess it's just a little hack with cleaning, with laying paper down, which makes life a little easier. You'll notice I don't just put the paper in like that, like flush with the edges. I actually kind of have it folded up the edges of the tank, and I kind of press it into, sorry if I sound echoey, it's the tank. And I kind of, so I have it folded up like that. It is a little bit of a pain to get it to sit that way. Once it's like that, then I just fold it into place. You might ask yourself, why am I doing that? Snakes, 90% of the time when they decide to crap or wee, they're not going to do it in the middle of the paper. They almost always do it right along the edge of your tank. If your paper's just pressed up to the edge here, yeah, half of it's going to be on the paper, and the other half is going to be up the side of your tank, which is what's happened here before I started doing that. Or it gets up, it just goes down under the paper through the tiniest little gap between the end of the paper and the side of the tank. So I have it folded going up a bit, so even when it craps along the edge, it catches all of it. Doesn't damage or ruin the side of my tank like it's kind of done in the past before I did it. This is an old tank. So yeah, little tip for you guys. So you might also think, folding the paper going up the sides of the tank like that, it doesn't really stay in place. You think, well, it's not going to stay like that very long, it's going to get moved instantly. Left like that, yeah, but I mean, you got a big heavy ceramic bowl here, that's holding that in place. The branch comes down onto this end of the tank, which holds these two bits of paper in place. So as long as you've got a few things in the tank to hold the paper down, it should stay relatively still for a reasonable amount of time. So next I'm just going to top up his water because it's almost evaporated away. One thing about snakes is they actually drink quite a lot. A lot of people don't think that. Snakes drink a lot. And they love clean water. A snake will not drink dirty water. Next thing is just to put the branch back in, and Monty is still kind of on that branch. He's mostly off, so I think I'll just get him off the branch. And that's it, guys. Done. Also guys, one other thing I'm just going to update you guys on while I got you here. I know this is about cleaning enclosures, and I had my little rant about jags and breeding. That again wasn't the point of this video, it just kind of happened and I thought I'll just tell you guys about it while I got the jag out. One of the little things happened, my male and female blue tongue pair have been mating, and hopefully I will be having some baby blue tongues soon. So yeah, I've caught them mating twice now and I have filmed it. I was quick to grab the camera because blue tongues, when they're mating, it only lasts a few minutes and then they part ways. And I've caught them doing it twice, so I will quickly play that footage for you now of them mating. So that was that. Hopefully she will have some babies in the next 2 to 3 months. They take between 2.5 to 3 months of gestation before they give birth. Now blue tongues don't lay eggs, they're a live bearer. So fortunately for me, I won't have to do any incubating whatsoever. All I'll have to do is keep weighing the female to make sure that she is in fact pregnant. She'll be gaining weight, and when she's closer to her due date, I will simply just separate her from the male and she can have birth in peace, and from then on the babies can pretty much look after themselves. So yeah, they're pretty easy to breed as far as lizards go. Alright guys, that's it for me. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm out of here. From me and little Bailey, the jungle jag, I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to hit that like button and give me a sub. Blah, blah, blah. You know, it's funny, no matter how many times I do my outro, I always mess it up. So as I was saying, Jesus Christ, that one almost legit got me there. That came out of nowhere. Are you gonna let me do my outro, or are you gonna keep distracting me and making me mess up? Bloody hell. So as I've been trying to say, but I keep mucking it up, hit that like button and give us a subscribe as well. Also, don't forget, hit that post notification button, guys, so you guys know when I upload new videos. I promise I won't leave you hanging for 2-3 weeks, unless of course I'm sick again like I just was. That's all from me, guys. From me and Bailey, bye bye.